Hello, and welcome back to Better English Step by Step. This is your calm, long-form English learning podcast, where we take the time to really understand how English works. We don't rush, we don't stress, we just listen, practice, and improve, step by step. I'm Sarah, and I'm so happy you've decided to press play today.
And I'm Mark. Hello, everyone. It is great to be here with you for another long, comfortable study session. Today, we have a topic that is going to change the way you start every single day.
That's right, Mark. You know, a lot of our listeners tell us that they know a lot of big words. They can talk about business or economics or travel. But when they try to describe their own simple daily life, they get stuck. They freeze.
It is a very common problem, Sarah. You wake up, you move through your morning, but you don't have the English narration for it. You might say, I awoke, which sounds a bit like a fairy tale, or I washed my face, which is correct but a bit robotic.
Exactly. So today, we are going to fix that. We are going to narrate your entire morning routine. We are going to walk through the first 2 hours of your day, from the moment you open your eyes to the moment you arrive at work or school. And we aren't just going to learn words. We are going to learn the natural phrasal verbs and expressions that native speakers actually use.
We want you to be able to think in English from the moment you wake up. Imagine that. No translating, just narrating your life as it happens. So grab a cup of tea, or maybe you are on your commute right now. Just relax, and let's start at the very beginning.
Let's start in bed. It is dark, it is early, and then suddenly there is a noise. Sarah, what is the phrase we use for when the alarm clock makes a noise? We say the alarm goes off. To go off.
Go off. Now, this is strange, isn't it? Because usually off means to stop. If I turn off the light, it stops. But when an alarm goes off, it starts making noise.
That is a very important distinction. If your alarm went off at 7 a.m., it means it started ringing at 7 a.m. Let's practice this. Listen to the sentence and then repeat it after me. I will leave a little silence for you to speak. My alarm goes off at 6:30 every morning. Again, my alarm goes off at 6:30 every morning. Perfect. Now, Mark, when the alarm goes off, what do you do? Do you jump out of bed immediately?
I wish I did, Sarah, but honestly, usually I want to keep sleeping. Sometimes, if it is the weekend, I might sleep in.
Ah, sleep in. This is a lovely phrasal verb. To sleep in, it doesn't just mean to sleep. It means to sleep later than you usually do, on purpose. You stay in bed because you don't have to work.
Exactly. It feels like a luxury. You don't say, I slept late, because that could mean you went to bed late. You say, I slept in. Let's try that. Repeat after me. I love to sleep in on Sundays. One more time. I love to sleep in on Sundays. But Sarah, what happens if I don't mean to sleep late? What if my alarm goes off, but I don't hear it and I miss my bus?
That is a nightmare scenario, Mark. In that case, we don't say sleep in, we say oversleep. To oversleep means you slept too much by accident, and now you are late.
Right. So sleep in is a happy choice. Oversleep is a mistake. Let's practice the negative one. Repeat after me. I was late because I overslept. Again, I was late because I overslept. Now, there is another phrase we need for that moment when you are still in bed. The alarm goes off, you are awake, but you aren't standing up yet. There are two very similar phrasal verbs here, wake up and get up.
This confuses so many learners, Sarah. They use them interchangeably, but they are different actions.
They are. Wake up happens in your head. Your eyes open, you are conscious, you are no longer asleep. But get up happens with your body. Get up means you physically leave the bed. So I could wake up at 6:30 when my alarm goes off, but I might not get up until 6:45.
Exactly. You might lie there scrolling on your phone. so you are awake, but you are not up. Let's practice distinguishing these two. I'll say a sentence and you repeat it. I woke up early, but I didn't get up until 8 o'clock. Try that again. Focus on the difference. I woke up early, but I didn't get up until 8 o'clock. Now, Mark, sometimes getting up is hard. You are tired, your body feels heavy. You don't just get up. What do you do?
In that case, I drag myself out of bed. To drag, it implies resistance. It's difficult. I drag myself out of bed.
That is a very visual phrase. Imagine you are pulling a heavy bag across the floor. You are dragging it. When you are exhausted, you have to drag your own body out of the covers. Let's try that one. It's very common for Monday mornings. I had to drag myself out of bed this morning. One more time. Feel the tiredness in your voice. I had to drag myself out of bed this morning.
Okay, so we are out of bed, we are standing up. The next step in narrating your morning is usually the bathroom. Now, we don't always need to describe every specific hygiene action in detail. We don't always need to say, I brushed my teeth, then I washed my face, then I combed my hair. Right, that sounds like a list for a doctor. Often, native speakers use a wonderful summary phrasal verb here. Freshen up. Freshen up. It sounds so pleasant, doesn't it? To freshen up. This is a polite way to say you are going to the bathroom to clean your face, brush your teeth, maybe fix your hair. It covers everything. So if you have a guest, or if you are talking to your partner, you might say, I'm just going to go freshen up. It's much nicer than listing the specific cleaning tasks. Let's practice this useful phrase. I need a few minutes to freshen up. Again, I need a few minutes to freshen up. Now, if you are doing a bigger clean, you are probably taking a shower, but we often make this sound faster and more casual by using a verb of movement. We don't just take a shower, we hop in the shower. Hop in, like a rabbit? A little bit like a rabbit. To hop implies a quick, light movement. If I say, I'm going to hop in the shower, it implies I won't be in there for an hour. I'm just jumping in and jumping out. It sounds energetic. You can also use it for the car, right? Hop in the car? Yes, exactly. It's a very friendly, active verb. Let's practice it with the shower context. I'm going to hop in the shower quickly. Repeat that. Notice how hop in connects together. Hop in. I'm going to hop in the shower quickly. Okay, you have freshened up, you have hopped in and out of the shower. Now you are standing in your bedroom, perhaps looking at your closet. It is time to get dressed. This is another area where learners often use the standard verb wear or put on. Those are correct, but we have more specific phrasal verbs depending on how we are doing it. Right. If you are in a rush, which many of us are in the morning, you don't just put on your clothes, you throw on your clothes. Throw on. Again, it implies speed. You aren't carefully selecting the perfect outfit. You are grabbing a t-shirt and jeans and putting them on your body quickly. You throw them on. It's very useful for casual situations. I just threw on a sweater and left. Let's practice this one. I didn't have much time, so I just threw on a jacket. Again, I didn't have much time, so I just threw on a jacket. But what if it is winter? What if it is freezing cold outside? You are not just throwing on a t-shirt. You need layers. You need a scarf, a coat, maybe a hat. For that, we use the phrase bundle up. To bundle up. It means to wear many layers of warm clothes to protect yourself from the cold. You look like a bundle, a package. Parents say this to children all the time. Make sure you bundle up, it's snowing outside. Let's practice bundle up. It's freezing today, so you'd better bundle up. Once more, it's freezing today, so you'd better bundle up. Excellent. So we are up, we are fresh, we are dressed. Maybe we bundled up because it is cold. Now we move to the kitchen. This is a huge part of the morning routine. It is. And the most important thing in the kitchen for many people is coffee or tea. Now, you could say, I made coffee, but if you want to sound more dynamic, especially if you are making something quickly to eat or drink, you can use whip up. Whip up. W-H-I-P, like whipped cream. But as a phrasal verb, whip up means to prepare something to eat or drink very quickly and easily. You might whip up some eggs, or whip up a quick breakfast. It implies you are good at it and it doesn't take much effort. Let's try it with breakfast. I'm going to whip up some pancakes. Repeat that. I'm going to whip up some pancakes. That sounds delicious. But before we eat, we often encounter a problem. You open the fridge, you reach for the milk to put in your coffee, but the carton is empty.
Oh no, this happens to me too often. We have a specific phrasal verb for when you have consumed all of something and there is nothing left. We say we have run out of it. Run out of. This is a 3-word phrasal verb. Run out of. You can't just say, I ran out the milk. You must say, I ran out of the milk. Actually, usually we say, we ran out of milk, or I have run out of milk. It means the supply is gone. This is one of the most common phrases in English daily life. You can run out of time, run out of money, run out of patience, but in the morning you usually run out of coffee or milk. Let's practice this 3-word structure. It's a bit tricky with the rhythm. Run out of. We've run out of coffee. Try to link the words together. We've run out of coffee. We've run out of coffee. So if you run out of coffee, your morning is off to a bad start. But let's assume you have coffee. You pour out a cup. You sit down. Now look at the time. You might realize you are going to be late. You have to leave the house. This transition, from being inside to going outside, has its own set of verbs.
We don't usually just say, I left the house. I mean, you can, but it's a bit plain. A very common way to narrate this is head out, to head out. Head like your body part, but here it is a verb meaning to move in a direction. I need to head out. It means I need to start my journey. I need to leave. It sounds very purposeful. I'm heading out now. What time are you heading out? It's softer and more natural than when do you leave? Let's practice head out. I need to head out in 5 minutes. Again, I need to head out in 5 minutes. And when you head out, you have to make sure your house is secure. You have a key. You don't just lock the door. Well, you do, but we often say lock up. Lock up. Why do we add up? It emphasizes that the action is complete. You are securing everything. If you leave the office or your house, you lock up. It implies checking the windows, the back door, making sure the whole place is safe. So, I locked the door is for one door. I locked up is for the whole house or apartment as you leave. Exactly. It's a subtle difference, but it helps you sound more native. Did you remember to lock up? Repeat that question. Did you remember to lock up? Okay, Sarah, so we have locked up, we have headed out. Now we are in the commute phase. This is the time between home and work. For many people, this involves public transport, a bus or a train. The verbs here are tricky for beginners. We don't enter a bus, we don't go in a train. No, for large vehicles like buses, trains, and planes, we use get on. You get on the bus, you get on the train. But for cars and taxis, small vehicles, we use get in. That is a crucial rule. Think about it this way. If you can stand up and walk inside the vehicle, like a bus or train, you get on it, like getting onto a platform. If you have to crouch down and sit, like a car, you get in. So, narrating your morning, I got on the bus at 8. Let's practice that. I got on the bus and it was crowded. Again, I got on the bus and it was crowded. And speaking of crowded, that is usually the problem with the morning commute. There are too many people. The traffic is not moving. What is the phrase for when you cannot move? We say you are stuck in traffic. To be stuck. S-T-U-C-K. Like glue. You cannot move forward or backward. You are stuck in traffic. You can also use this for a situation. I'm stuck in a meeting. But in the morning, it's usually traffic. So you might text your boss and say, I'm going to be late. I'm stuck in traffic. Let's practice that excuse. It's a very useful one to know. I'm sorry I'm late. I was stuck in traffic. One more time. I'm sorry I'm late. I was stuck in traffic. Now, if you are on the train or the bus and you are not driving, you have some free time. What do? You probably take out your phone and you start looking at social media or news. We have a phrasal verb for this motion, moving your finger up the screen. We call this scrolling through. To scroll. S-C-H-R-O-L-L. You scroll through Instagram. You scroll through the news. You scroll through your emails. Through implies you are looking at a lot of things quickly, from start to finish. You aren't studying them deeply. You are just scrolling through. It's what most of us do to pass the time. I just scrolled through my feed until I got to my stop. Let's practice scroll through. I usually just scroll through the news on my way to work. Again, I usually just scroll through the news on my way to work. Finally, you reach your destination. You are at the office or the school. You need to exit the vehicle.
If you got on the bus, what do you do now? You get off. You get off the bus. You get off the train. And for the car, if you got in the car, you get out of the car. Right. So don't say, I got out the bus. Say, I got off the bus. Let's practice the arrival. I got off the bus and walked to the office. Again, I got off the bus and walked to the office. We have covered a lot of ground, Mark. We went from the alarm going off to arriving at the office. We did. That is a full morning routine narrated in natural English. But learning the definitions is only the first step. The real magic happens when you can put it all together in a flow. Exactly. We want our listeners to be able to tell the story of their morning smoothly. So now we are going to do something a little different. We are going to do a full flow practice. I am going to narrate a short story of a typical morning using all the phrases we just learned. I want you to just listen first. Close your eyes if you can. Visualize the actions. Don't translate. Just imagine the story in your head. Ready? Here we go.
My alarm went off at 7, but I wanted to sleep in, so I didn't get up immediately. Eventually, I had to drag myself out of bed. I went to the bathroom to freshen up and hopped in the shower. It was cold, so I bundled up in a warm coat. I went to the kitchen to whip up some coffee, but I realized I had run out of milk, so I drank it black. I looked at the clock and realized I had to head out. I locked up the house and walked to the station. I got on the train, but it was delayed, so we were stuck in the station for 10 minutes. I just scrolled through my phone until we started moving. Finally, I got off at the city center and walked to work. Excellent job. Shadowing is hard work, but it is the best way to train your mouth to move like a native speaker's mouth. You know, Sarah, if you do this every day, these phrases will become automatic. You won't have to search for the word bundle up when it's cold. You will just say it. That is the goal. We want to move these words from your passive memory, where you understand them, to your active memory, where you use them. Now, before we finish, let's add a little bit of complexity. Sometimes things don't go smoothly. We talked about running out of milk, but there is another common morning problem. You are ready to go, but you can't find your keys or your phone. Oh, the panic. Where are my keys? In this situation, we often use the phrasal verb look for. This is basic but essential. You don't search the keys, you search for the keys or look for the keys. I spent 10 minutes looking for my keys. It implies the process of trying to find them. And then when you finally find them, we sometimes say they turned up. Turn up. That's a good one. It means to appear unexpectedly. My keys finally turned up in my other coat pocket. It suggests you didn't really find them. They just appeared. Don't worry, your phone will turn up. Let's add these two to your toolkit. I was looking for my keys for 10 minutes. Repeat. I was looking for my keys for 10 minutes. And the positive outcome. They finally turned up in the kitchen. Repeat. They finally turned up in the kitchen. Okay, let's review the leaving sequence again with this new detail. Imagine the stress. You are late. You need to head out, but you can't find your keys. You look for them. They turn up. Then you lock up and leave. It adds a bit of drama to the story, doesn't it? It does. Let's try to build a sentence with that. I was ready to head out, but I had to look for my keys first. I was ready to head out, but I had to look for my keys first. Very good. Now, Mark, I think we should talk about the mental state of the morning. We talked about dragging ourselves out of bed, but what about when you are feeling energetic? If you are a morning person, you might not drag yourself out. You might spring out of bed. To spring, like jumping. I sprang out of bed ready for the day. And what if you are planning your day in your head? You are thinking about the schedule. We often say we are going over the plan. To go over, it means to review or check something. I drank my coffee while I went over my schedule. This is a great habit, narrating your mental actions too. I am going over my to-do list. Let's practice go over. I like to go over my schedule while I eat breakfast. Again, I like to go over my schedule while I eat breakfast. So now you have physical actions, hopping in the shower, whipping up eggs, and mental actions, looking for keys, going over schedules. You are building a complete picture. This is what fluency feels like. It's not about knowing the rarest, most difficult words in the dictionary. It's about being able to describe the 1,000 little things you do every day with ease and precision. Exactly. If you can describe your morning routine perfectly, you have mastered a huge chunk of English vocabulary. We are coming to the end of our session today, but the learning doesn't stop when the podcast stops. We have a challenge for you, a specific challenge for tomorrow morning. Yes, tomorrow, when your alarm goes off, remember, goes off, I want you to start narrating, in your head or out loud if you live alone. Say to yourself, Okay, the alarm went off. I am waking up. I am getting up. I am dragging myself to the bathroom. I am freshening up. I am whipping up coffee. Try to use at least 5 of the phrases we practiced today. If you get stuck, if you don't know the word for something, note it down, look it up later, or come back to this video and listen again. That repetition is key. You might need to listen to this session 3 or 4 times before bundle up feels natural. That is okay. That is how we learn, step by step. And if you enjoyed this long, calm practice and you want to continue building your English confidence, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We have many more routines to cover: the workday, the evening wind down, the weekend trip. We want to be your companion for all of those moments. Thank you so much for spending this hour with us. You have done great work today. You have focused, you have repeated, and you have learned. Now it's time to head out, or maybe turn in, depending on what time it is where you are. Have a wonderful morning, or a wonderful sleep. And remember, every step counts. See you next time. Bye for now.